my channel. My name is Maria and I just talk money. I started the channel with the focus of financial literacy and personal finance. Whether you're somebody who has stacks of money or somebody who is kind of like me, who works full-time, has a part-time job or something on the side or anywhere in between, finance impacts you in some way, shape, or form. And so because personal finance is something that we all kind of like go through, I figured why not talk about the things that impact me on this channel with you guys. In this video, I will be telling you guys as to why I started Uber Eats back in August of 2024 and why I had that as my side hustle instead of getting another part-time job or any of the other possible income streams that there are available nowadays. And so I will be going through that with you guys in this video. But before we do that, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you're a returning subscriber, well, thank you so much for being here once again. Please ding the little notification bell, that way you're notified as to every single time that I upload a video. And please let me know any suggestions or topics that you would like to hear from me in terms of all things finance or personal budgeting, tracking, etc. The disclaimer is always on the description box. However, just to say it here, I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a personal budgeting finance person or guru of any sorts. I'm just a girl who is going through life with her personal finance journey. And so if whatever I talk about here or whatever I share on my videos somehow helps you become more financially literate and able to budget your money better and such, then my job here is done. And so without further ado, let's just get into the video. So for a little bit of context, for those who may not be very familiar with who I am, or for those of you who are recently new subscribers to the channel, thank you for being here. I've always been somebody who works all the time. I started working really young. I started working, well, at the legal age of starting work here in Ontario, Canada. So I started working when I was 16. I believe that was at the time when you could start legally working. I think it was either 16 or 17, so I might have just not been able to find something in the first year or first couple months. I wasn't waiting around to get employed by anybody or waiting for my parents or my family or whoever to give me money to get the things that I wanted to get. And I've basically been working until now, which is 29. So I've been working for 13 years. And so it has really like never stopped. At one point in my life, I did basically always have like 2 jobs. When I got into university, because finances were more demanding and such, obviously you having to pay for your courses, you having to pay OSAT back and stuff like that, I did get myself out of the first job that I originally had and I got into more serious jobs which provided more hours and more pay for what I was doing. There were still part-time jobs like, you know, working at the mall, at some shoe store, or working at some cleaning company or whatever it was. It was never like a corporate job like I have now. However, I was always looking for something to do because, to be honest, if you're unemployed, I think that's when you're the most grumpy, which is something that we can get into a different video. Also, your needs are not being met, and so you kind of dig into versions of yourself that you wouldn't be digging into if you were financially independent for yourself. Sorry if the camera angle changed. My camera literally just died. Convenient. After I graduated university, I didn't get a job in the field that I work in currently, or even the field that was related to the subjects that I studied in school. However, I did get offered a full-time position in my job at the time, which was a bakery which had offered me a cake decorator position. I had been at the company for about 3 years at the time, and so because I had learned so much and I was a stellar customer service clerk and such, they did decide to bump me up to a cake decorator position. Lasted in that position for about 1.5 years or so, and then after that I got the job that I'm currently at right now, and then was still doing that other job part-time. And ever since then I was always hired in multiple places. Ever since that year, which is when I graduated university, the years following kind of like heavy in terms of expenses. After 2020 or 2021, I did get my car. I did start paying rent because I did move out of my mom's house, etc. So that comes with groceries, paying your own bills, paying your own electricity, etc. And so with that came the need to hustle more for money. And like I said, with that, I did always have like multiple jobs. I had the part-time at the time, and then this current job that I have. I had this current job, and then I switched to another part-time position. At some point, I started doing Herbalife and such, which does bring me income on a super part-time basis whenever I'm able to do it and to promote it. I don't shove it down people's throats, but I am a distributor for Herbalife, and so I do that as a independent contractor kind of thing. Afterwards, when I got pregnant, I obviously took maternity leave, and then I went back to working. Now, this is the kicker. Finances are still like really difficult for just everybody who lives in North America, specifically Canada and the US. Everything's just so expensive now, and I needed a job that was gonna bring in the money. But the problem was, with a little one, I'm doing my 9 to 5 for my regular full-time job. I really don't want to be then working as a mom, which I do as a 24-hour job, and then at, let's say, 6 o'clock, I have to put her down to bed or hand her over to my husband or whatever is necessary, and then I go to another job and have to work a fixed number of hours, specifically maybe like 7 to 11 or something like that, but which is usually the minimum around here. I believe in Canada or maybe in Ontario, I'm not sure, all the places that I've always worked, the minimum hours were always 3 to 4 hours, and so I didn't want to do that. So I thought about the options I possibly had, and I came across like a lot of Uber Eats and like DoorDash stuff that was online. A lot of people are resorting now to doing independent work, whether freelance or independent contractors, and I came across that end of YouTube and dove a little bit deeper into it, found out about it, did my research, kind of like compare the pros and cons of doing that kind of work, such as like, you know, maintenance on your vehicle, obviously, the fact that it's not consistent pay all the time. Some days may be good, some hours may be good, others may be bad, people may not leave tips, etc. And so with all my research, and I encourage you guys to do your own due diligence and research your own stuff and material and really think about it if this is something that you're thinking about doing, and even just a personality type. Maybe some things match better with your personality type than others. But the reason finally why I, after pros and cons and debating, evaluating the decision, I went ahead and decided to sign up as a driver for Uber Eats. And the reason mainly being is that I can pick my own hours as to when I want to do Uber Eats or not, especially when I have a little one at home. Let's say that my husband gets home late from work and I have to be with her for a little bit longer, or I just can't leave the house even if she's sleeping because duh, like somebody has to watch the kids. Sometimes that would happen where he would get home at different hours every single day, or just the fact that, let's say that I was really tired from working a full-time job and also being a mom and a stepmom, picking up the other one from like school and dropping him off, doing homework, dinner, and all those things. I was really tired, and so I was like, wow, imagine me having to go to a job and having to stay there for 4 hours. That was the main thing that I found, that with Uber Eats I would be able to control my hours. Let's say that I wanted to leave the house and my husband was home to watch the kids and such. Let's say that I wanted to leave at 7:30, I could, and if I was really tired 50 minutes later, I could come back home. If I was done my shift and I wanted to call it a day after 4 hours, I could. I didn't have to be forced to stay at an institution, at a desk, or wherever else. I could get a part-time job for a hourly pay. I didn't have to do that with Uber Eats. Now, of course, as I just mentioned, Uber Eats does not guarantee a particular pay with like the time that you input. If you do really great orders or if you get really good tips, that's a really good bonus, and you could stack up the money per hour. But obviously there are some times, or even in the learning curve that you're learning things, people may not always be the best at giving you orders. They give you really shitty orders, and at the beginning you just kind of accept a lot of things unless you do your research and only accept under certain parameters. You're not going to accept a $2 order for a 20-kilometer drive. Get what I'm saying? That's like not worth your time, it's not worth your gas, it's not worth your effort. But yeah, to kind of tie everything back in, that was the only position that I could like see myself in, where I could also not only make money, but I could also take the time to get out of the house. And yeah, most times I'm always driving in the dark because my husband gets home and I can only drive at night. Yeah, like it's the one thing that gets me out of the house, and I'm able to do that for myself, also making some money on the way. And the bonus about everything is that actually you get to know a lot of like the cool restaurants and stuff that are in your area. Let's say that you're around the Oakville area, you can explore Oakville, Burlington, etc. Let's say that you're in Brampton. If you're all the way east, you can go to Woodbridge. If you're all the way west, you can go towards Caledon. There's just like a lot of places that you can explore. The pros and cons, that's up to you to decide. Is the money worth it? Is the maintenance on your car going to be worth it? Is the gas that you're now fueling up a lot more frequently and perhaps a lot more quantity worth it to you? At the end of it all, it's up to each individual person to decide that, but I decided to go ahead, and so far it's been going great. If you guys are interested in me diving in deeper and like telling you guys the pros and cons that I found after starting, I can most certainly do that. Just send me a comment down below just to let me know that you guys are actually interested in seeing like the details as to how everything kind of went, whether smoothly or not so smoothly after I started. And the last thing I'll close off with is, I will say, just for any women who are thinking about doing this type of work, one comment that I got from a friend of mine back in the day, it was related to whether she would do Uber as a driver for other people or Uber Eats deliveries versus like DoorDash, Instacart, etc. The one thing that she said to me that was, I think, really important as a female, our safety. As we know, as women, we face a lot of unsafe situations which aren't deemed as unsafe for men, or not as risky for men, I should say. I wanted to do Uber Eats deliveries because I would be in my car by myself, always delivering from a restaurant. Like I pick up something from a restaurant and then I drop off at somebody's house. That has a lot less risk factor than me having somebody in my car, especially if you're driving in the peak hours of Uber. People tend to either go to work or tend to come home from parties or need to go to parties and stuff like that. And in the state of mind that some people are, sometimes it's not really safe for any driver, but especially if you're a woman. A friend of mine once told me multiple people actually tried touching her in the car, even like got around to like wrapping their hands around her neck, and so, as in like she's in the driver's seat and they were like the passenger behind her. So that's like really something that I don't think anybody should go through. It is like a risk that you are signing up for by signing up for this type of work. However, for women, I just suggest that unless you have some type of like safety shield literally embedded in your car, that way you are able to be safe while driving other people, especially in the state of mind that some people are at when they get picked up for you being their Uber driver. I just suggest that you go the delivery route, whether DoorDash, Uber Eats, skip the dishes or whatever, because that's just you with people's food in your car and that's it. The most you can get out of that is a stinky vehicle. For your safety, I would recommend doing that. And then if you do want to increase your tips, if you want to increase your money and your earnings, of course you can dive into driving around other people. However, I think just for safety purposes, services start with delivering food, and then there's less risk. Obviously there's risks involved in you dropping off to somebody's place. Maybe you're like in the middle of the night, like whether 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning, delivering something and it's like really dark outside, you don't know the area. I've had some deliveries where like it's like a country road and you can't see shit, and so just always be aware of your surroundings and be aware of the consequences that could happen. There's always like the support system and Uber Eats and stuff like that, but I just thought I'd throw that out there as a little tidbit as to why I do Uber Eats, specifically only that, and not driving around people, because as a mom now, I need to come home to my baby. My baby depends on me. My husband, my stepson depend on me on a lot of areas. I'm not trying to disappoint, but I'm also not trying to get killed or kidnapped or whatever it is. Safety first, and that's why I did Uber Eats. And yeah guys, I'll close off on that. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video and found it informative in some type of way. If you have some questions, feel free to leave them down below. I'd be happy to answer them, and let me know if I missed anything. And besides that, if you guys are interested in seeing more videos from me about anything that has to do with money, that way Maria can talk about the money, please go ahead and subscribe. The button's just down there. Make sure to click it and ding the little notification bell so you are updated as every time that I upload a new video. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get going with my day, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video once again. Thank you so much for clicking on it, and that's it from me for now. So until next time guys, God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video.